Cardell, Nottingham, 24 miles. Okay. That's in. There we go. So does this mean that you're going to need a ride down tomorrow morning?
I think my buddy going to bring me back to get my car later on.
Okay.
But no, I don't work the weekends. I just work Monday through Friday.
Gotcha.
So I put your order in. Instead of making your design, I'm actually making you t-shirts. What? So you can tell me what size you like. I'm doing you yeah, I don't let no thoughtfulness go unpromoted, you know what I mean? So you deserve that. I appreciate you for real.
Man, oh man.
So you just let me know what sizes you want and I got you. And your color and your colors.
Do you want, okay, well, to break that down, so the color would be the t-shirt color, right?
No, the t-shirt I mostly probably be white.
Okay.
But the color of the design that you like, what's your favorite color?
Whew. Well, let's see. Are we just doing, what are you doing? The
I can give you
driver?
two colors.
Driver?
Did you want OH or did you want O?
I don't know. Did you look at it and think about it? Or
I sent you pictures.
Oh, man. I haven't. Oh, is that what you sent me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it was all my designs I drew out for you.
Man, I thought.
I took time to do that. Oh, let me hold my tears back.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to see it.
Okay,
it's
all
just
right.
that I thought you were sharing music.
No. There's pictures that I drew out.
Well, the first thing that it showed was music, like it looked like thumbnails or something like that. Anyway, whatever. I just misunderstood what was happening. And whatever. Okay. All right. Well, that's my bad. I'll get back to you. I'll look at them and get back to you, man.
All right.
Yeah, no worries.
I can have you in as early as Monday, but
it's no rush.
On my schedule, Wednesday.
Okay.
So I do all my own things, all my own designs. I get all my own clients. So I'm got between Monday and Wednesday.
All right.
Then he got a lot of big orders coming Thursday and Friday and next week. I mean, after that, the week after.
Well, if you want to, I'm streaming right now to my YouTube channel. So our conversation is on on my YouTube channel right now as it's happening, right? So if you wanted to, you could jump online, and when I get to the next stop sign or whatever we have, or a stop light so that it's longer, I'll send you a link, and then you can open the window and just jump in the chat and say hello, and then they'll know that even though I'm not like, look, I'm just starting out with this stream, like it's really,
a lot of fun. I see a couple of your things. You got a lot going on.
Well, I still think that YouTube doesn't promote small channels.
True.
And so I'm working my ass off to get more than 82 followers. Like I've had different channels. The last channel that I have is my more popular one. And even then, even though it says I have 3,500 followers, I really only get maybe 30 or 40 that watch.
Yeah.
So
people?
It doesn't even show.
30 or 40 people?
Yeah. That would be damn like small or damn like, well, anyway, trying to promote it as much as possible. And since we're talking about this, everybody out there in the audience, if you're listening to this point, to the sultry sound of my voice, welcome to the Gay Podcast. I'm your Gay Podcast host, Trav-EL Mateus. Why is it the Gay Podcast? Because gay is so beautiful. I'm so gay for being gay. Yeah, you know what gay means?
Happy.
Gay means happy. Okay, so I'm happy, I'm content, I hope you are too, and I got Roderick, right?
Yep.
Roderick here, my king, is with me, and so, you know, we're just going to be hanging out for the next hour, maybe, depending on how good traffic is to us. So anyway, man, so like, what did you do? Like, what do you do today? What did you have projects that you had to work on, besides, you know, doing your own little, you know, creativity for me, which I appreciate.
Well, I design clothes, tennis shoes, Air Jordans, Nikes. No matter whatever you got, I can design it. I can draw any picture, freestyle by hand, off the top of the brain. All I need to know is who you like and what you like about it. So I promote most of my stuff in the store, and I try to keep my clientele low, because once people start seeing it, everybody loves it. It's mainly I promote for the kids, because everybody have a kid that likes something, cartoon, adult films, animation, doesn't matter. Everybody like a little bit of something that the kids are always around.
So when, like, is this your own business then, or do you work for a company?
I work for a company, Corporate Sport.
Okay.
But I do have my own business. It's called Ready to Rock Again.
Okay.
That's why I airbrush, glitter, spray paint, whatever design, pencil, pen, whatever you want on your clothes, I can put it on there for you.
Okay, so then I would bring you something that I wanted on. You don't get contracted by Nike to design the new Nike shoe. You're just saying somebody's got a Nike shoe and they want something on it, you can fit it on there?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so as soon as I stop here, I'll send you the link to the podcast.
Got it.
How many people do you work with?
In this building, particularly around 12.
Okay.
But in my department, 4. I'm the fourth, 3 other people.
Okay. That's right, cat lover. We're having a gay old time. I'm so gay for being gay. I forgot about. I have all these different ideas about my channel that I crisscross all these different threads that I don't know, come up with over the years. So let's talk dreams. Let's talk reality. Let's talk existence.
All right.
What do you think about all that stuff? Like when you think about why you exist, what do you think about?
Why do I exist?
Yeah.
I'm here to populate the planet. And make sure my kids are happy and life goes on for them. Not for me personally, but I did everything I could possibly do here. I ain't giving up on life, but I ain't trying to please nobody else or make nobody else feel no worse than what they already feel, because everybody got problems. So I think my purpose is now just for the kids now. Like making the kids happy, seeing the kids smile.
I think if we put our heads together, we might be able to come up with a song. I feel the first line. Here it is. Tell me what you think. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them bleed. Show them all the beauty they possess. You know this song already, right?
Yep.
Whitney Houston sang about that like 40 years ago, bro. Right?
Yep.
Well, think about this. What if you will open your eyes again after you die and you'll just simply be back here again? What if you should think about your existence not only for your children's future, but for your future when you come back as a new child? What about that? You understand what I mean?
Resurrection, right?
Well, it's like resurrection, but it's more reincarnation. So I believe that everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is vibration. And we're told that on the quantum scale, that everything is held together by electromagnetism, electrons, protons, neutrons, atoms, and nuclei, and molecules. They're all zipping around each other, right? And if you get the right frequency, then you have a rock. Or if you have the right frequency, you have a flower. Or you have a human being, and that human being is you. And what are you? How long have you existed? Is this your first time here? Is this your 10th time here? What do you know about yourself? So the way I understand this journey that I'm on is that I know more now than I did 5 years ago. But will I remember what I know now when I wake up again in the next life? That's the question. But that's the question that we face every day when we go to sleep and our dream self wakes up. So when you go to sleep tonight and you close your eyes and you're fighting to stay awake, you don't want to go to sleep. You want to stay awake, but all of a sudden you're just gone. And then what happens in your dream? Who is that? Is that you? Right?
Is this an out-of-body experience we're talking, or is your body sleep but your mind woke?
When you go to sleep tonight and you dream, right?
Okay.
When you're in your dream, is that you? Are you the dreamer? Or what are you? Where are you? Are you at the zoo? Are you at the beach? Are you at work? Like when did you last dream, and what do you remember about your dream?
That's a nice one.
So
nice one.
So the trick is, I'm describing something in my description of what I think happens to us. That is, do you game?
Yep.
Okay. So this should make sense to you as best I can. I don't game, but I understand the concept. It's my opinion that the creators of simulations, which we call virtual reality, which we call augmented reality, which we call Super Mario Land, or we call Super Mario Kart, or Zelda, or whatever it is that you play,
D&D.
that is a dream that you're going into. You're going into the exact same thing that you do when you dream. And that thing that you call your avatar, that's your dreamer. Except in your dream, there's no you controlling the dreamer. Unless there is. And that's you, but you could just be asleep. So let's pretend this was a dream. How would you know you were dreaming?
Before you continue, can you wake yourself up out your dream?
I think that I've done that, but I was much, much younger. And I think that it's kind of like forgetting how to be a child. You know how you grow up, Dad, you were so much younger when I was 5. You know, we used to play and draw pictures and imagine and blah, blah, blah. Now you're just a boring old man. This is Peter Pan complaining that his dad, right? This is Peter Pan with Captain Hook. And so, yeah, I do think that in the past I've been able to wake myself up if I was scared. But I know that my ex had to wake me up probably 3 times in our marriage, and that was not a lot, but 23 years of marriage, I can remember probably about 3 times where she's woken me up and she says, "You're having a nightmare." And I can remember I was screaming in my nightmare, but in reality I was just going like that, right? So then imagine being asleep next to somebody who's doing that. And so in that moment I couldn't wake myself up. I was too afraid, I was too scared, whatever that was. But anyway, so what about you? Can you wake yourself up when you're dreaming?
Yes, I can. And it's weird because I got my mindset where my body go to sleep, but my mind don't sleep. I can still hear what's happening in the room, or if the cat come in the room or leave out, somebody using the bathroom. Like, my mind don't sleep. So it's difficult for me to dream because of reality.
That's interesting. Like,
I grew up in a city where there's been a lot of shootings and violence, and as soon as you're not home, somebody's trying to break in and enter in. And so I've always been aware more than sleeping. So
when you say that you can wake yourself up, my question is, do you mean that you wake yourself up so that your physical self wakes up, or do you mean that in your dream you say, this is a dream, I am now awake and I can control what's happening in the dream?
I actually can. Like, if I want to turn the person that I'm talking to into a teddy bear, I can do that. Because my mind is imaginary. Everything I draw, like, out of this world, and then once again on paper is back into this world. So I make reality. So I can focus my mind into believing that it's actually something sitting right here next to me, and I can visually picture it. And maybe I won't see it, maybe you would, you know, because of the energy.
I really like what you're talking about right now, because I think that we could even turn this into a new series on Netflix.
Yeah?
Of course.
That's what's up.
Okay. What you're describing right now would be a very interesting episode on Black Mirror.
Yep.
Where you are like Harold in the Purple Crayon. You know who that is?
No.
Okay, so later on today, if you can remember, Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Okay.
And basically the idea is that Harold is a little boy and he has a vivid imagination and he has a crayon and he can draw things in the air that appear, and he climbs in the airplane and he goes flying around and does all these kinds of things. And so we show these cartoons to children, and they watch these cartoons on the television, but what they don't understand is it's showing them what they should be able to do in their dreams. They should be able to, in their dreams, draw a picture of a jet plane, climb inside and go fly wherever they want. Or they can even fly all by themselves. Right?
Yep.
So right now, you are more of a Jedi master than I am. I can only talk about lucid dreaming. You, it seems, can do it.
Yep.
My question is, do you know why and what you're supposed to use your dreams for?
I don't.
Okay? It's the same thing that you use your What game do you like to play?
Grand Theft Auto.
Okay. The same thing that you do in Grand Theft Auto, you're supposed to do in your dream, and that is level up.
Yep.
Level up. Level up. Level up. Get.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in your dream, you're like, what good is this? I have all this stuff in my dream. What good is this? Can you take that knowledge back with you when you wake up? That's the trick.
Mm-hmm.
So in your dream, you know how when you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you start, like, say at, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, and then all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're like, oh my God, 5 hours? Went like that, right?
Yep.
That's in your dream too. When you go to sleep for, say, 6 hours, you might dream for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I just said to you?
I got you.
So what if you could take that 10 years and just do art that whole time and conquer this idea? Or imagine a new goddamn monster and you're just like, and you're like, oh my God, remember that when you wake up and draw it. That's what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the monsters come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they get these ideas. That's where Alien came from, in my opinion. Like, otherwise, where did he get that idea? It's not real. A unicorn's not real, is it? Then how does somebody know what it looks like? Tell me how you know what a dinosaur looks like. I don't think dinosaurs were ever real.
Yeah. You don't think dinosaurs ever real?
Nope.
Do you think schizophrenia is real?
I think schizophrenia is unfortunately used as a weapon of diagnosis against people who are spiritually in tune with the other dimensions. And so these voices that they hear are there. I just can't hear them. Just like you said, you could draw something and I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they see. They see dead people. They hear dead people, but I don't. That doesn't, who's the crazy one, me or him?
Yep.
He's like, you're crazy, you can't see that? You see that right there?
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem's not with him, the problem's with me. I want to know what he knows. I want to see what he sees. But the powers that be called all of these shaman, all of these witch doctors, schizophrenics, and they're crazy. And you got to give them drugs to sedate them. And they don't think they're crazy. I can see, I'm talking to my grandmother right now. I can see her. That's real. I think. I've never experienced it, but I believe that it's true.
Okay. So what if it wasn't dead people? What if the people that you was just with yesterday, or a family member, or?
Dude, what kind of episode for Black Mirror would you like to write? Would you like to start taking notes on the series that we can create and teach the world how to wake up? Because all we're going to do right now is talk about an idea that you and I can make money on. So how much money do you want to make?
I want to make it all.
Okay, so then start taking notes.
Gotcha.
Let's make the next goddamn Black Mirror and blow Black Mirror out of the water because they didn't go far enough.
Exactly.
And I already have the name for it. It's called Dreamscapes.
Mm.
And every episode, let's say we're gonna create a half an hour of content a month, right?
Mm.
We're gonna kill ourselves to make one section of 30 minutes of content. And we're gonna take a minute a day. That's 30 days, right?
Mm.
We're gonna do that, and we're gonna make that 30 minutes so goddamn amazing that people are gonna be like, when's the next episode coming out? That's how good this is gonna be. And each of the episodes that is 30 minutes, how many dreams can you fit into 30 minutes? Because we dream like this.
Yeah, as soon as you roll over, that will pop in.
So why don't you just create these little dreams of boom, 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 and then just switch and go from nowhere to nowhere. So here's a vivid idea in my mind, right? You wake up in the morning, you make yourself a cup of coffee. It's like, I don't know what time you wake up. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark out. You know, the birds are starting to chirp. Rooster might crow in the distance or whatever, you know. You're looking at the paper, scrolling through the and then you drop your spoon. Then you bend down to pick up your spoon, and when you come back up, you're in your office at work, and you don't even know you missed a beat. You put the spoon back on the table, you're out of office, you're like, you just laughed at a joke that somebody told, and nobody heard the punchline because you just went into that dream. Like, that is gonna grip people, man. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand what's happening here. But that's what all of these, you know, Black Mirror episodes are. People tune in to watch that shit. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
We can make up anything because anything can be made up.
Yep.
And people will watch it and they'll pay for it.
Yep.
And you know what? We will have unending content. You know why? Because once we get a following, we say, if you can remember your dream, send it in and we'll make it into an episode. And people will be writing us shit all day long, bro.
Sound like playing.
And you're the artist. You draw, you make a trailer. Whatever. I mean, I don't, I just have ideas. I mean, I'd like to think that I can contribute something else, but right now it's just like thinking.
You talking out loud is contributing enough.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to tell you, that's contributing. I'm taking it all, putting it inside this little memory bank I call a box in the back of my head, and I'm jotting it. But I'm just thinking about the people that we're trying to attract, and whose dreams do we actually want to air? Do we want to air out the dirty laundry dreams where this man is actually climbing through the window to become a serial rapist, or do we want to finish playing this game called life and wake up and go to sleep and wonder how all this is happening?
Yeah. You know what I think about? What if we did an episode like this? I got tired and bored with The Walking Dead. But the first 4 seasons, man, I was like, this is great stuff. But do you remember the truth drop? Do you remember how they pulled the curtain back and showed us truth in a zombie movie?
I don't.
Who was the cause for the zombie outbreak?
The government.
The goddamn CDC.
The government.
Why didn't anybody stop the whole thing and go, stop watching The Walking Dead? Do you realize they just showed you that the source in Atlanta for the zombies that everybody has injected in them? How did they do that? When did they inject me with it? When you were a baby and your mom and dad believed the medical association and said that we have to inoculate your child to prevent them from disease. All the while we're infecting them with this virus that when they die sometime in the future and we trigger this electromagnetic pulse, and all of the zombie genes wake up. And as soon as you die, the zombie genes come out and you wake up. Because that's what we found out. You found out that you didn't have to be bitten by the zombie. Like, zombies just tear people apart. But they found out, Rick and the rest of them, they found out that when one of them died of natural causes, they fucking came back as a zombie anyway. How's that work? If they weren't bitten, where'd that zombie thing come from? And then they went to the CDC and found out that the CDC injected the human race with this. Like, nobody thought about that. Nobody paid attention to that. And that was truth in fiction. That's everywhere, bro. They pull the curtain back all the time. And only the people who have frame rates in their eyeballs fast enough to see that flash. What was that? What was that? Did you see that?
No, I didn't think anything. Shut up. It's a good part coming up.
So here's my idea. What if, as a zombie, you were fully aware in your mind and fully sane, but there was something making you do this, and you're like watching yourself eat somebody. You're like, oh my God, what am I? And you're like going in your mind, right? You're throwing up in your mouth in your mind because you're eating a human being live. But you're in your mind going, stop, I'm sorry. Like, imagine, like you just see the outside of the zombies. And Rick is seeing these zombies, and he's like, these are wicked, evil people, but they're not. Inside, they're like, I'm sorry, I'm doing this. I can't stop. I don't want to do this. Don't kill me. And then my head gets chopped off. Like, that would be an interesting scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could make that a dream. And then you could even bring Rick into your dream and say, hey, man, Rick, do us a favor. Throw us a bone, bro. You believe in independent artists, right? We're an independent artist. Will you be in our dream sequence? And then that'll tie it back to the living dead. If I were an artist, if I were a true artist, I'd do it for goddamn free. I don't care if I'm Sylvester Stallone. I don't need your goddamn money. How much more money does Sylvester Stallone need? Will you appear in my dream sequence, Sylvester?
Yeah, sure, you bet. I'd do anything.
All I want you to do, Sylvester, okay, and I'm the goddamn director, and I'm telling goddamn Sylvester Stallone what to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sylvester, what I want you to do on this, I want you to just come in, crack open 12 raw eggs, and chug it down, bro.
He's like, yeah, that's no problem. I used to do that, Rocky.
Before the last one, yo, Adrian.
You know what I mean?
He's like, yo, Adrian, fix me some eggs.
And then cut, and he's gone. He's gone. You're like, oh my God, Sylvester Stallone is in this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much money we'd goddamn make?
Yeah.
Like this should be done. Let's do this, bro.
Sounds like a good idea. How we gonna get Sylvester Stallone in it?
It's all about media.
Yeah.
It's all about media.
Yeah.
We have to make something, like I said, let's just focus on 30 minutes. How beautiful can we make a 30-minute segment where people will be like, I want to watch the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. I just missed it. Rewind. You know, they don't want to miss anything.
Right.
And they're going to be like, wait a minute, this is kind of like the way I dream.
Mm-hmm.
This is what a dream feels like. And then at the end it says, by the way, if you have any dreams that you'd like to contribute to the content of this channel, send it in and we'll turn it into a program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people will just die, fall over themselves. They'll make shit up that wasn't even a dream.
Yeah.
I want that. You can't tell. Yeah, I don't know if that was a dream, but you just made that up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Somebody's walking on broken glass with bare feet. I have to think about this. I was in a conversation last week on Discord. You know what Discord is? I'm sure you do. And it's in a conspiracy Discord group where we talk about everything. And this guy says, I believe in demons. And I said, why? I'm not challenging you. I've never met it, unless you consider Karens demons. You know, I've met Karens. I don't know if what did this demon look like? He's like, I don't know. I couldn't see it. I'm like, well, how the fuck do you know it's a demon?
Right.
He said, like, I heard it. I said, well, what did it sound like? And he was like, it sounded like this. That's all he heard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all you heard was just this noise, and that's a demon to you. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I said, but what about this? What if that was a memory from when you were a child and you heard your mom and your dad fighting? And that was just this ugly noise, and you were a baby and you didn't know what it was, but it sounded ugly, and your brain just kept on that and made that into a dream nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's not a demon. That's the lack of love between your parents.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make psychology work like that, if you can make that art, psychological profile, like a person will break their brain and they're like, oh my God, I know what my nightmare means now. If we could combine psychological profiling and counseling, like how to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what you do then? You teach these children when they're young about their power in dreams. You make them Jedis when they're 5, so that when they're 20, they're goddamn fucking Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
And they go into their dream and they go, and they say, oh, I've got a demon to fight. I don't know what that noise is. And then they go in to that place that's dark and scary, and they find out that it's their uncle that's abusing them. And he's the monster that they've been afraid of all of their lives. And they didn't know who they were running from, but there's this dark place in their mind, and they're running away from this thing that's hurting them. And then they go into their dream, they're like, I'm going to crack this. I'm going to find out who this is. What is this demon that I believe in demons? And it's not a demon, it's his goddamn brother, or it's his dad, or it's his mom, and they're molesting. I mean, that's real. People experience that.
Right.
But they don't know that they're blocking out their childhood terror. And their mind makes it into this monster that I believe I gave this little girl. Did I tell you about the dragons that I slayed?
Yep.
Right, you remember that?
Yep, mother and daughter,
Okay.
Maya.
One of the things that I said to Maya was, you know what I want you to do, Maya? Because we were talking about dreams. She says, there's a monster in my dream. And I said, do you know what you can do, Maya? I said, you can kill that monster. You want to know how? She said, how? I said, I want you to go home and I want you to draw a sword. And I want you to name that sword, and that's going to be the sword that you take into your dreams, and you're going to have it ready for. And that monster, you're going to slay that monster with your sword. And so when you draw this sword and you look at this sword that you just drew or painted or whatever it is on this piece of paper, you look at that and you say, I am Zelda, right? Or I am whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. I am I can't remember any, like warrior. Xena, right? Mm-hmm. I'm Xena the warrior princess. And I have this sword, and when I go into my dream, I'm going to slay my dragon. I don't know what it is. And you tell yourself that over and over and over again, so that when you go to sleep and you dream again, your brain is programmed to be ready to fight that dragon. And I told that little girl how to do it. I don't know if she's going to remember right now. She might remember in 20 years. I don't know. but I gave her a different perspective on her dream. She doesn't have to be enslaved to her dream. She has to understand that she's in control of her dream.
Mm-hmm.
She just has to understand where she is and who she is and why she's there and how she's there and when she's there. You know what I mean? Whew.
I actually like the control efforts in the manner that you put it, because snakes to me are scary. Now, to a baby, all they see is a line, and it ain't scary, it ain't venomous, it's nothing.
They don't have a context for it.
We embellish these things into their mind and make them feel like, don't touch that snake because it's going to bite you. But that person who played with the snakes, anybody never must have told him that, because he got a python around his neck and it's loose and they do whatever they want. So when we force people to make decisions other than think about the decision that they're about to make, is what makes reality. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because ain't nobody scared of an elephant. Just because he got big feet and he can crush me, I still like to look at it and stand here while Superman and Batman fighting around it and the Sandman throwing sand while the police videotape it. You know?
Bro, you want me to tell you something? Check this out, man. I can't remember how much I might have told you. Did I say anything about having a really powerful spiritual experience recently?
No.
Okay. Well, the short end that I want to communicate now, and hopefully our relationship will continue so that...
Oh yeah, you got me.
I'm just saying. Okay, what I'm just saying. So I was physically restrained in a hospital gurney, in a hospital. It was in Annapolis somewhere, on April 28th, my 52nd birthday. I had a spiritual episode where I lost my mind, I became lucid, and I had a very, very, very powerful experience. And at one point...
Not a crisis though.
Crisis for everyone around, because they thought I was crazy. They didn't think, oh, this man needs a shaman. They said, what drug are you on? I'm like, I'm not on a drug. I did have cannabis, but that's not the problem, because I had cannabis yesterday and this didn't happen. I had cannabis the day before and this didn't happen. I had cannabis the day after. It didn't happen. It's got nothing to do with the cannabis per se, maybe. But what I'm experiencing right now isn't something that you can clinically define. This is a spiritual experience, and you just need to make sure that I don't go out into the traffic, because I can hear the traffic, but it sounds a little bit like a river. It's just like this. And it sounds like a river, but I know that it's traffic. And I said to them, don't let me go out into the traffic. And they're like, are you saying you want to kill yourself? And I said, listen to what I'm not saying. Did I say I wanted to kill myself? No, I asked for your help. Help me not go into the traffic. Right? So at some point I got restrained. I got put into a gurney and I was in a hospital, and I could hear everybody talking around me, and I was listening. My eyes were closed and I was just taking everything in. I was listening to everything. I could hear noises and beeps and clicks and whatever, right? At some point I open my eyes, you ready? And I see Forrest Whitaker. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the
guy with the wonky eye.
The Doug Whisperer.
Yeah. What the fuck is he doing in this hospital looking at me? Did I see him? Was that a dream? Was he there with me? Because he wasn't saying anything to anybody. He was just looking around. He was just listening. And he was looking at me sometimes, and he was like, I know what's going on, man. Just write it out, bro. Just write it out. And I'm like, you're goddamn. Like, I know who you are. You're Forrest Whitaker, bro. Forrest Whitaker is in my... Like, I saw this. Like, this is what I remember. Now, call it a dream, whatever you want, but I believe that Forrest Whitaker was logged into the simulation and he showed up in my world, in my multiverse. And he was just there, just looking around. Just being like Morpheus, chilling, seeing what's going on. He didn't say anything. Nobody talked to him. It's like they couldn't see him or whatever, you know? It's pretty amazing, dude.
I gotta be honest, this is the second time you told me a story and it hit home like it was like, I literally just did that. So I want to tell you real fast that the schizophrenia came from asking for help. I called people, I didn't want to be in traffic. I got 2 cars sitting outside, and the person I called for help called me a cab. Didn't want to be in traffic. Left my kids home alone, 4 and 1 years old. what drug are you on? I'm just trying to get my life together. Help me out. I'm asking you for help. I don't want to be in traffic. 2 cars outside, mind you. And the help I got was that brand new white jacket sitting in that room without Forest Whitaker there. Hearing the voices, watching people come and go, and the people that asked for help turned their back. They turned their back, and they made it seem like, what drug are you on? Just like you said. I was in Franklin Square though. Everybody knew about Franklin Square and the mental patients up there. So,
well, what happened before? What happened before that? Like, how did you think about? Yeah, I mean, what before you asked for help? What happened before that?
Before I asked for help?
Yeah.
A lot of arguing, fussing, and wanting to know what's right and what's wrong. Put it like that.
And you're outside?
No, I was inside.
You're inside.
Mm-hmm.
So then, why were you worried about going into traffic?
Because I didn't want to be inside. Where I was at didn't feel safe. I like to clean a lot. I'm very, very clean. So when something is not the way I left it, I can tell somebody's been there, or somebody interrupted it, or.
Okay.
So at this point in time, when I come home, I can see where it's been interrupted and stains and certain things that out of order. So I took the initiative. Come to find out, the person I'm asking for help is the main source of the fidelity, put it like that.
Okay.
So they want you to believe that it's not happening because they involved.
I get you. I totally understand what you're saying.
So the help I got was to, all right, let's scare them. Let's make them keep on feeling like that and thinking like that and believing that.
Right.
And the whole time it's like, yeah, it's okay. I trust you. I trust you. And the whole time it was like, it was never nobody else but you. You know what I mean? So you want to go cheat on your wife, but you want to do it over my house with another girl. I'm like, okay, sure. My peoples will let you in. You good to go. They ain't gonna say nothing. I come home with a girl that you was talking about cheating with, but my peoples in there and you in there. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
All right, so I'm letting you come over my house to chill and impress somebody that you like.
Okay.
When I get there, the person that you tell me that you're trying to impress, that you like, isn't with you, but the person I said was gonna let you in, y'all the only 2 in the house.
I see.
So it was never a third party. I just allowed you to go in and do it under the table. See, I never had curtains. My curtains were sheets. So when there's a stain on there, we're not gonna leave that shit there too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So something gotta give. I'm taking it down, you can see right through. And when the answers came out, all the friends and family went away. And he's just crazy, don't listen to him, his kids involved, he should be doing this, we all need to get together and stop this, he could do better, fake tears. And
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience that same day. It was like, have you ever gone to church?
Yeah, I did. I've been to church.
Okay. Do you know the story about John the Baptist?
John the Baptist. Somewhat.
Okay. Well, John the Baptist was the man who was the one who pointed to Jesus when Jesus came on the scene. So John the Baptist was like the introduction to the next episode, right? And so he was out in the wilderness, away from the cities, away from the temple, away from the population. And if you wanted to hear what that man had to say, call him Dave Chappelle. If you Chappelle, or if you want to hear art, the other guy that was out there that was like, because this is important. Singing together with other people in unison and saying the same thing and believing the same thing, that is important. We don't have that in America. We don't do that as Americans. We have Pentecostals, we have Baptists, we have Presbyterians, we have Catholics, and guess what? None of them fucking get along. But I bet if they were all Buddhists and Hindus, you know what? They'd all get along. Because in Buddhism and Hinduism, there is no dogma. If you know what I mean by that? Do you know what I mean by that?
By dogma?
Dogma. There's no dogma.
No.
Dogmatic. And there's a movie called Dogma that I would encourage you to watch. But basically, the word dogma means teaching. The church has teachings that you have to believe in order to be saved.
True.
That's dogma. The spiritualist says, what do you believe? oh, that's interesting. This is what I believe. You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. Guess what that means? We're never going to fight. We're never going to be in disagreement. I think your story is very interesting. In fact, I'm going to steal from your story and make a new story. Is that okay with you? You're like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. That's the way life is supposed to be. That's what you and I are doing right now. I'm not threatened by you. I'm not in competition with you. If I say something and you go with it, and you write a song or you blow it, I don't care, give a shit, man. That's your prerogative. But the powers that be know that there's also something in our psychology that if we have an idea in our mind that we think is real, then we will fight to protect that idea regardless of whether or not it's real. So we're Trump supporters, or we're Biden supporters, or we're Democrat, or we're Republican. That is all a construct of enslavement for our minds.
Right.
I'm no longer Republican. I'm no longer Democrat. I don't vote. I don't file my taxes. I don't ask the government to check and make sure that they can take more money from me. I don't need that. If they want to come after me and say I owe them money, they're going to have to goddamn prove it.
True.
So I'm not afraid. You know, if I get struck down, guess who knows? You do. If I die mysteriously or weirdly, it's because I'm saying too much.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm never going to kill myself. I'm never going to kill myself. I love life too much. I love you too much. We got too much to do, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to kill myself.
Right.
Now, if my brakes go out, people might think, oh, he died, his brakes went out. You go, huh? Did they though?
Yeah. Did they really? So, do you attract a lot of haters being able to use the word that you use?
I don't know. I don't.
I can tell you now that the people I hang around, they will be timid by you. They will like the way you use it, the proper nouns, everything about it. Just like you trying to play with my intelligence.
Yep.
And they wouldn't.
But you don't feel that way.
Oh, I don't feel that way at all. I grown.
Yeah.
I grown a lot. I had my little.
So that's
like
why
early.
That's why someone like you would be important in that environment.
Yeah.
Because you go, hey, whoa, why are you all angry? I'm not angry with what he's saying. So why are you angry? And then you become a reasonable voice as well. But the voice of reason, the voice of sanity, the voice of logic and precision and calmness sounds like fingernails on the chalkboard in the mind of a person who doesn't know how to think. So I sound just as crazy as a crazy person sounds to me. So maybe I should pay attention to crazy people, because sometimes I get treated like I'm crazy, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm not.
What's crazy is the voice of reason to a person that don't care and don't give not 2 cents or 2 fucks at all, because they're the one that's going to be like, I hear you talking, you're 100% right, but I'm going to find a way around that and still make you wrong.
Exactly.
That's where I found
that's where you wash your hands and wipe and walk away from that person. I have nothing to do. If you want to know what I think, I'm out in the desert.
Damn.
I'm not coming to you. That's what Jesus said. He said, don't cast your pearls before swine. And so Jesus went out into the wilderness, and guess who followed him? The people who needed love. And the people who didn't need love are the ones who hated Jesus, because all of the people that they wanted control over, right? These are the leaders. These are the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the governors, the ruling class. They all saw the people going after Jesus, and they all conspired against Jesus, and they said to each other, unless we stop him, the entire world will follow him. That's what you and I have to be. I have to be William Wallace. I have to be ready to lay my life down if it all means that I die mysteriously. Because what they show us is, do you know who William Wallace was?
It's sort of like an Emmett Till type guy, right?
Say again?
Sort of like Emmett Till, right? Emmett Till? Like sort of like him, right?
I don't know that name.
Emmett Till got beat by the police and he put him looking at a white woman, but he really didn't.
Okay,
He just poked his eyes out and threw him in the water and messed him up real bad for no reason.
Oh my gosh, well, that's another story that would be interesting. But no, William Wallace was a character from hundreds of years ago in Scotland. Okay, so the Scots and the Irish were being persecuted by the British.
Same dilemma.
And so one of the things that the British did in this story was there was a wedding, everybody's going to celebrate William Wallace and his lover or his betrothed who's still a virgin, right?
Okay.
Before they go and consummate the marriage, the British come in and rape her. Because that's the rule. We come in, we deflower your bride-to-be, and then you can have her the rest of your life, but we get her first, right? So they were trying to have a secret wedding. And so that happened. So then William Wallace was tired of this. He's like, why? It's like, we're doing this for freedom. Are we not free men? So William Wallace, one man, what can one person do? One man rallied the entire nation of Scotland to fight to the death for freedom. I would rather die protecting my freedom than to live as a slave under your tyranny. But that's what every single one of these people are doing. That's what I still do to a certain extent. I'm still living under tyranny because I'm not completely free. But, so my voice is now your voice, is now the voice of people, like whoever's going to hear the sultry sound of my voice talking about resistance and rebellion. So we're shown that one man, William Wallace, gathered up an entire nation, and it was dramatic, and people were fighting with swords, and heads were being lopped off, and 7-year-old boys were standing next to their 50-year-old fathers being slaughtered together because the 7-year-old boy is watching his father fight for his freedom, and he wants to be a man like his dad, and he just got his head clubbed in, right? And this is death. This is real. I've never done that. I'd shit my pants. You coming at me with a goddamn mace? That's serious shit, man. I better have my act together. I better know how to defend myself, right? So we have this entire nation of Scotland going up against the British, and then you have a Judas. You have someone who betrays the hero, and he gets captured. And now everybody's looking to the man who said, freedom! Right?
Right.
And they have him stretched out, and they rip his stomach open, and they pull out his intestines in front of everybody and say, this is what happens when you go up against your rulers. But it only happened because another weak man was a Judas, betrayed their leader. Because if he hadn't been betrayed, they would have conquered the enemy. So the enemy had to fight dirty. That's what we face. So whenever a truth speaker comes out and he says truth, and then he comes out and changes his mind, he's had his balls cut off. There's no reason why Joe Rogan, you know who Joe Rogan is?
I do.
There's no reason why Joe Rogan should have said at one point before he became Joe Rogan, I don't believe we went to the moon. And then he turned around and said, you gotta be stupid if you don't think we went to the moon. Wait a minute, those are two different Joe Rogans.
Yeah.
The reason why he said it this way is because they're paying him $50 million.
I say money or valuable.
Right? So Joe Rogan's a pussy. Kick my ass in the ring. He's not a man. He's not a man. He's a coward.
I understand. So, but he more of a man because he can beat you in a fight? Don't you try to say that?
No, I'm saying in his mind, he could kick my ass. So he's a man. And I'm saying, I'll never, ever, ever deny truth. But you will. Therefore, I'm a man and you're a snake. That's the proof. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to fight anything. Then if he says, I'm not a snake, then tell me something true that you believe that they don't want you to say. Because they're going to pay you enough to say the opposite, don't they, Joe? They have you bring on people that feed the narrative, and people watch you because they think that you're some kind of god just because you have Neil deGrasse Tyson and fucking Elon Musk on your show. They're just puppets, and so are you. I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy. I've got no strings to hold me down.
True.
Do you realize that that's what Pinocchio is about?
Yeah.
Pinocchio is about you waking up and becoming a real human being. Pinocchio is made up, I believe, of 2 words that refer to the third eye. That's what the word Pinocchio means, opening your third eye. But we just think it's some Italian word. Pinocchio, hey, Pinocchio. Da, da, da. No, his first word is P-I-N, which is the pineal gland, the pineal. And then occhio, Pinocchio, oculus is something that you see.
Shit, man. For real, he's definitely smart.
I'm not smart, bro. I'm not smart.
I didn't know that till just now. You told me something. You smart.
I heard it from somebody else.
Oh well, let the saga continue.
You know, it just makes sense. That's what these stories are. These stories are not just people making up stories. They're telling stories about people. And there's Geppettos out there, and there's Pinocchios out there, and there's foxes out there, right? In Pinocchio's story, there are animals that talk. Those are the only things that I know that talk are people.
Yep.
So then that fox isn't just a fox, is he? He's sneaky. He's tricky, right? And then he's got this cat that does whatever he wants, and that's the shill.
Disappear and come back, yeah.
You know what I mean? Go to Alice in Wonderland. All of those characters, every single one of those characters in Alice in Wonderland is a person that you meet. You meet Red Queens. You meet the Cheshire Cat. You meet the caterpillar at the hookah. You meet all of these different characters. And the question is, which one are you?
Right.
Are you a thief? Are you a liar? Are you a trickster? Are you an NPC? Are you awake? Are you a hero? Are you a heroine? Are you a comic? Are you a joker? Are you a jester?
I remember when I first wanted to be a character or a superhero, it was like, all right, so which one you want to be? And I was looking for all the right answers. Should I be able to fly? Can I disappear? Can I have everything I want? Or do I want to make sure everybody happy? So when I first told somebody I can, oh, you don't hear that? Listen. And when they said, you crazy? I started listening on my own and realized these not scary voices. These voices talking about you. So it was more or less being scared at first and then realizing, hold up, am I hearing this right? And then putting it together and becoming a person, not only a better person, not only a hero, not only a super person, but a person to be able to walk away with knowing what's right from what's wrong and being able to deal with that fact truthfully, like you said. Because if I pull this card and say, hey, is this what's happening? And you lie, there's no need to continue. Because like you said, he probably could beat my ass or not. But at the end of the day, why feed into that? Why feed into being somebody's hero when if you don't save me today, you ain't no real hero?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's a small thing.
You see what I'm saying? As soon as you mess up one time,
yeah,
he's the nemesis. Like he's the worst.
Yeah.
Where was he? Ain't no calling out, ain't no sick days. Once you're a parent, you're a parent. You know what I mean? Once you're a hero, you're a hero. Once you're anybody, you're anybody. But I learned once you move, that's when you're actually somebody. Or once somebody kills you, that's when you're somebody. But why we gotta go that far? Remember, Mike used to live right down that corner house? You live in a new house, you've been there for 10 years. But Mike used to live in this house. That's all we remember, is Mike used to live in here. Or Jim killed that man. Remember Jim killed him? We still don't know you. We still remember the before and after. So we put all our faith and trust in trying to please these people, but they don't really care. So it's who we pleasing and why we pleasing them. That's my perspective. So now I'm just me, and I wanted to be the Rock. So I nicknamed myself Rock, and I tatted it all over my arm, and my superhero is the Rock.
So you're the Thing.
Yep, I'm a Rock, just the Rock.
No, do you know what I mean? The Fantastic Four
Yeah, the
character?
Thing, he's the Rock guy.
Yeah. Well, there you are, man. That's Unbreakable, dude. You're in.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean. Have you seen Unbreakable?
Did Unbreakables?
No. It is Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. I've seen a lot of Bruce Willis. We got Kanye guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
right,
movies.
That's right. You need to. If you don't have anything to do tonight, Unbreakable. Watch it.
Okay.
It's about real people being superheroes. It'll blow your mind. Samuel Jackson's in it too.
Yeah, I like Sam. I was just watching him in what that was, Glass. That was crazy. You ever seen Glass?
Shut up, dude.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Unbreakable is the part 1 of that. You watched part 2 first.
What kind of figures you was talking about? That's what figures you was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. He just like some running around like fighting people and his son think he's somebody else.
So
Yeah.
since you watched part 2 first, the spoilers are undone. Okay. Samuel Jackson's character was a superhero, comic book fan, right? And he knew that in the superheroes that every hero had an equal and opposite villain. Okay. He was an evil person. Mr. Glass, Samuel Jackson's, his brain was broken. He was the bad guy. And he's like, I'm a bad guy. Guess what that means? My opposite is out there. Guess what that means? I'm like Glass. Guess what that means? Someone out there in the world is unbreakable. That's the first movie, Unbreakable. So what does Glass do? He goes out to find this unbreakable person by making planes crash and trains crash. And if somebody survives that shouldn't have survived, that's the hero.
True.
That's what the movie's about.
I seen him on that ride. He couldn't even sit still and kept broken all his bones in his body numerous times and so many surgeries.
Yeah. But
it was the Beast guy that got me. Like what the world?
Right.
And I seen that movie
But see,
first.
that's all. Look though, that Beast thing isn't supposed to be. You don't get lost in. Damn, what's his name? The actor. I
forgot his name. I know you're talking about.
He's a great actor.
He did. He
Right?
definitely played all them roles good.
Don't get lost in the fact that he's playing a monster. Realize that he's just expressing what other people express in tinier, smaller ways, and they're smaller monsters. But they're just like him. They just like want to destroy and break and and so it's all because we're not, like I'm not unbreakable. Like if I get in a car accident, like I have a sore finger because I tweaked my knuckle. Like I'm not a superhero that way. That's make believe. But I am unbreakable in my convictions, right? I will tell you what I think, and I will stand by what I believe, what I know. So I'm unbreakable in that way. But we have all of these different, people in our lives that are the enemy. But at the same time, they're our neighbor, they're our mom, they're our brother, they're our sister. And so that's why when the Jesus is hanging out with the tax collectors and the sinners, and he's drinking wine and he's passing the duchy, like I said before. Jesus did pass the duchy to the left-hand side, of course, right? And they come in and they say, Jesus, your mother and your brothers are outside. And that was his real mom. And Jesus said, here is my mother and here is my brother. I'm with my family here. If they want to be with me, here I am. But Jesus wouldn't go out to them, even though it was his mom, because Jesus said that even a prophet is not accepted as a prophet in his own hometown. And that is, his worst enemies are his closest family, because we knew him before he was the savior of the world. We changed his shitty diapers. We changed his bed that he peed in. We watched him masturbate, whatever. Like, we've seen Jesus before he was Jesus. We knew Travis before you knew him as Travel. And he's not who you think he is. And that's the life of a prophet. And so the prophet then goes, right now I have an audience of one. I don't know. Here I am in the wilderness. This is my wilderness. And whoever's listening should be my sheep and go out and share this content, because the conversation that you and I had right now is fucking gold. Like, people should hear what we talked about.
Right.
Right? So why isn't it being shared? Why aren't we Joe Rogan right now? Why don't we have 10 million people? Because I'm saying things, you're saying things that are more important than Joe fucking Rogan, who's just jerking off under the table while people pay him to say stupid shit.
I can clarify why. Because everybody's got their own class. Like, if we was born for what we was actually born for, to actually live a life a certain way, then that guy right there wouldn't have a Benz and he got a hoopty. You know what I mean? So they classify us. He ain't got no Benz, don't listen to him. He ain't even got no car on the bus stop. He fresh. He got all brand new clothes on, but he's still on the bus stop. He ain't even take enough attention in school to get past the 9th grade. But he got $1 million in the bank. So it's how they look at us and where we going at with it. If you ain't got this house on the corner, then you can't even sit over here next to us. You know what I mean? Like, it's the rules that we should live by that messes up everything. Like, yeah. I ain't gonna talk to him again. That's that right there. That's enough for me. That's it.
Look, man.
That's it.
Look,
you know what I mean? So it's all in how you looking at it.
Okay, here we are again. You just described an episode in Dreamscapes. You just described a conflict of class, right? You're talking about a higher class, lower class, middle class, elite class, right?
Yeah.
That's reality. So then we could tell our own mythological story about that in Dreamscapes, where we show people like this is, and we see, like, we could tell the story in such a way that the person who is watching it is understanding. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I see what's going on here. Like, he doesn't want to hear what he says because he doesn't have Air Jordans.
Yep, exactly.
Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. That's what we want people to, we want them to have that conflict in their mind so that they will go, wait a minute, do I do that in my life? Is there something in my life where I say, you're not like me, therefore I don't have to listen to you?
Exactly.
That's what we want to, that's the kind of content we create. And you know what? The majority of the people don't want that. We don't want them. We don't want them. We want people like you and me who are starting to wake up and will see what we are showing them and they're like, yes, more of this. We want those people watching. Now, we want the other people watching too, because I believe that it takes many, many, many years for seeds that are planted to take root and begin to change the way I think. Like the root of love, I think, was always in me, but I was dry and I was parched and I didn't have enough water, and I had misconceptions of what love was and misconceptions of who I was, and so I didn't love my ex-wife the way I should have. But I tried. You know what I mean? I did try. And I made my brother and my sister feel like I was judging them because I was a young Christian and I thought I knew everything and you guys are doing this wrong and blah. And that's what I did. I did that. Yes. Will you forgive me? They won't. They won't forgive me. That's not my problem. I can't worry about that. I've already said I'm willing to apologize. And they were like, I don't want to hear your apology. Like, okay, guess what I don't need in my life? You. Go away. I have no brother. That's not my brother anymore. You are. You're my brother. I'll lay down my life for you, man. I will for him too, right? He's a human being. But you get what I'm saying? That division that happens, even though he's my blood, right? Zachary John Finley is my brother in blood, but he's no longer my brother.
I got those same words popping out my mouth. I'm holding them in. I'm gonna be real with you. That's the same exact how I feel. At the end of the day, let me tell you this. I'm gonna blow your mind with this one. It's not the people that's listening to you. It's the people that's listening to the people that's saying how dumb you sound. You get the more attention. So I wouldn't have this condo right here if it wasn't for me trying to apologize and then not accepting my apology. Because they added more people into the circle by saying, he's so crazy. Listen to what he's saying. So the people who don't believe me is listening to me to see when I sound crazy. So now I got people listening to me, and the people that don't want to listen to me, listening to me to hear me mess up. So my popularity went up 1,000 more because I stopped sharing with you and I saved more. I stopped caring about how you felt about me and started caring about how I felt about me.
Okay.
That didn't make me happy. I'm trying to explain to you why. You don't want to accept it, then be gone.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it is to it. And I gained so much more from that. And I can honestly say, me getting pulled over and having a revoked license and all this stuff now that I know what's happening is a lot different because I think God wanted me here spiritually inside this ride to talk about this and share this.
Right.
Because nobody else wanted to kill or pay attention.
Yeah.
I'll find a way for you. It's gonna take some time.
Hey, man.
Because he's not there when you need him. I heard that.
Yeah.
But listen, in due time, he will be there. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't the people that everybody think somebody here that's talking them into killing themselves. It's the person that's saying, hey, yo, you don't need to be around him. You don't need to do that. Just, yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a really close friend who helped me understand, I think, what you're saying. And so I'm going to try to say it this way and see if it sounds similar to what you're saying. He said, when we were talking about this, he said to me, your greatest enemy is never going to be the government. It's always going to be your next door neighbor.
Yep.
Because your next door neighbor doesn't think the way that you do, and they're going to fight you. And the government knows that, and they don't have to. Government doesn't have to worry about me. The government knows that there are 1,000 Karens out there who will fight for them against me.
Exactly.
So when I go out and I go to the auditorium and I start to preach to these children that they have all the power that they need, that they can do this, there are going to be parents out there that are going to be speaking out against me. There's going to be someone who's going to be looking on the internet to find out something about me, to bring up from the past. Like, why would you do that? What am I saying right now? What am I saying right now? Love. What am I saying right now? Love. What am I saying right now? Love. What does the past have to do with that? Nothing.
Exactly.
Because what am I saying right now? Love. So are you against love? No. Then why are you bringing up the past?
Why you gotta make a strong and make sure that your voice is heard about something that we're not even talking about no more? Exactly. It's over, let it be the past. No, I'm not finished yet. I got some more. Like you forcing
I'll
me
be
to
like,
believe.
all right, have fun talking to yourself.
Like,
I'm
exactly.
done. Check, please.
And then if you don't listen, guess what? You put me in this situation, made me feel like this. Now you gotta listen because you're trying to figure out what you did wrong.
That's all gaslighting, bro.
Yeah. I ain't falling for that no more.
Normal people like you and me, we don't gaslight. We don't have to gaslight. Gaslight, yeah, whatever. We can talk about that another time.
Yeah. I get that.
Well, think about this. Like, think about the different way that we could. So one of the ways that we could, in fact, create this content is to make it animated, because then we don't have to have physical actors per se. You know what I mean? We could borrow Sylvester Stallone's voice and just draw a cartoon of him, but have his authentic. I don't know. I'm just saying, for instance, because you're an artist. Like, let's make this happen, dude. Let's make small little. Screen boards and whatever you need to do to get these ideas out, and then let's make it animated.
You got it.
You know what I mean? Like, what we could do is we could go back into the conversation that we had, turn it into a transcript. Where should am I taking where?
Oh yeah, I'm on the other side.
Okay. Turn it into a transcript, because you described something, and I said that would make a great episode. So all you have to do is go back into this video, find that part, get what you said, type it down, and maybe make it a bigger episode, maybe a little bit, and then you animate it.
Sounds good.
How hard is that? People are doing that all the time,
easy.
bro.
It's actually easy. If I could put my mind to it, it's actually easy. The parts that I got fulfilled.
You know what I mean? All hail my king.
For real.
All right.
I want you to know something before I leave. You are always welcome. You're invited into my establishment, my home.
You welcome my campfire anytime.
And if you ever want me to be on this show, you let me know, and I'm here for you.
No, man.
I'm here for you.
I would love to. You know what? You know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be the driver that people hire to be on my show. They're going to hire me not because they have to go anywhere. They're going to hire me for a half an hour, and they're going to be on my show for a half an hour, and they're going to tell their friends, hey, I'm on the überCaste in an hour. That's my episode. And people are going to hire me, and all we're going to do is ride around. I'm going to say, tell me what you're thinking about.
Okay.
Because they know that people are going to tune into my podcast, and they know that whatever they say, people are going to hear. And people want other people to hear what they have to say.
And in order for that to happen, you got to lead by example. I think I'll take the first for hire. I got court Monday, so if you want to put a price tag on taking me to court, let's get this thing started.
Oh well, okay. I don't want to think about that. I don't have price tags. That doesn't.
No,
exist.
well, not the price tag, but
I know
the hire. for hire, as you put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I would be happy to if that's something that would help you out or whatever. I'll be your ride.
all right. So it's 9 in the morning. I can text you all the information and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
For real.
For sure, man.
I think I'm gonna do you a nice little shirt inside the house too. I'm gonna surprise you with this one. But make sure you look at everything I sent you.
I will.
I took everything.
When I get home and I'm not driving,
you got it. I wish you the best of luck. I can't wait till you get back to me, and I'm here for you 100%, man. Anything you need, you hit my phone, man.
Here you go.
Anything.
Here we go. Luck? I don't need luck.
I hear that. Thanks a lot, all right?
All right, man.
Drive safe. Till the next time.
Peace out.
All right. All right.
And that's the way you create content, okay? I don't know who's out there right now listening to the sultry sound of my voice, because from what it looks like, there's nothing going on in the chat. There's 2 people watching, but there's nothing going on in the chat. That's fine, okay? Whatever. At this point, if this episode at this point is already in the past, because what I just said a moment ago is already in the past. Everything after this point right now is already in the past. So, to my future audience, whoever you may be, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I have been your gay podcast host, Travel Mateus Finley. I create content to free your mind. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be witty and create something. Whatever. Before you leave, if you have not hit that Fonzarelli, please make sure you smash that Fonzarelli, hit that like button, and then what else are you going to do? You're going to share the content, and then you're going to jump down into the comment section, say hello, introduce yourself, and let me know how you found the content and all of that good stuff. Let's keep this conversation going, okay? Because we still have so much to do and so little time. I have been your gay podcast host on the gayest podcast in the universe. Until next time.